Okay guys, welcome back to the channel. Now what we're going to do today is, as you can see, this beautiful 2GR-FE. It is due for another oil change, so we're going to change the oil on it. I would recommend, I've always used Newlon. They've always been a good Australian brand. It takes 10W30, dog's barking. It takes 10W30, and I normally just get the Ryco oil filters, the R264-8P. I would also recommend a funnel, obviously, and bucket or a drip tray. It takes about 6 litres of oil as well. And if you're using someone else's garage like I do, I would recommend a tarp. It's got carpet as well, as you can see. You will also need a oil filter cartridge, to slip on there and undo it. And I think that might be a 17 that fits onto there. And I'll just hold up so you can see the part number here. Just hold this up to the camera, hopefully you can see that. So yeah, I actually just walked in a Toyota and bought this a couple of years ago, because I used it for my previous Aurion as well. So yeah, bear with me for a second and I'll find out what size spanner fits on the sump. And yeah, I would also recommend doing it on level ground, out of the sun, so you don't get too burnt. Now, if you're thin like me, I can just, I don't even need to jack up the car. I can just squeeze under here and reach the oil filter housing there, and reach the sump plug on that side as well. So you don't even have to jack up the car. You can just crawl underneath it. Anyway, I'll be right back. Alright guys, I will confirm a 17mm spanner does fit on here. So you can either have the, this end or that end. And the 14mm spanner fits on the sump plug as well. Now, I think the last service or the service before, they replaced the sump plug washer, so I'm not even going to worry about that. The last couple of services I've been doing myself anyway. I just haven't had a chance to film them for you guys. The car also has on it about almost 112,000 Ks. So my last service was 105, and then my next service will be 120,000. So I'm just doing a small intermediate oil and filter change by myself here. And then for the big services, I take it into Toyota, or I take it into, a good mechanic, who does the brake bleeds, the brakes, the tires, all the big stuff that you can't really do at home. So yeah, set the park brake, obviously. The car's in park. Then I'm just going to go ahead and crawl under here and show you guys what I'm going to do. It's super easy. Alright guys, I really hope you can see this, because otherwise it's going to suck. I do apologise for the terrible lighting in the camera angle, but basically you're just going to slip this 14mm closed ratchet spanner on the sump here, lefty loosey, righty tighty. Now, shouldn't be too hard to get off. Okay, there we go. Because really, when you tighten it up, you only want to do it like a quarter turn, nothing too strenuous. Alright, so you're just going to loosen that off. Move your tarp back so you don't bloody spray everywhere. And I would also recommend using some very old clothes for this, because it doesn't matter how hard you try, you'll always get blobs of grease on you or oil. So yeah, just bear with me. It's all finger loose now, so I can get this off. It probably doesn't matter if this drops into the oil. If I can try not to drop it in, that would be great, but if it does, it is what it is. And it's very hot, obviously, because the engine's been running for a while. I would also recommend taking your proximity key out of the car too, so just in case anyone's around and accidentally starts it while trying to listen to music, or if you accidentally start it because you're having a tired day and you forget that there's no oil in there. So you obviously don't want to do that. I've never done that before, but I have heard of people who have done that. Right, a little bit of a mess there. Right, it's all coming out now. So yeah, a healthy engine should have about 6 litres or 6.1 litres in the sump at any given time. This doesn't really use much oil at all. I've never noticed the oil dropping in between oil changes or services. So, you know, I don't give it a hard time when it's cold. I change the oil every 10,000 or less. Like this is only about 6,000 or 7,000 Ks on this oil. So yeah, I always like to keep up with oil changes or do extra oil changes for, you know, maximum engine life. All right, guys, while that's draining out, and when I get the filter off, I might just let it drain out for a little while as well. I would recommend, if you got a nice day off like today, take your time, let as much of the old oil out as possible, so it gets any, you know, shavings or any carbon or any grit out of the bottom. Same with the oil filter, let it drain out as much as possible. You know, go to the toilet, have some lunch, you know, have a shower, take your time or whatever, for an hour or two, if you want to. You don't have to. I just like to take my time doing this, and then come back and tighten it up and then put the fresh oil in. Anyway, so what we're going to do is we're going to put this oil filter on. It's super easy. I forgot to mention as well, when I bought this from Toyota a few years back, I think it was only $30 or $40, so it's pretty cheap. I'm assuming they still have it. I'm not sure if the newer 2GR-FE and all that, I'm pretty sure they have the same oil filter and oil filter housing, so you'll probably still get one of these, to be honest. Anyway, so this just obviously slots under there. I will mention to probably put this on first. Okay, it's gonna be that way. Sorry guys, I know it looks really shit, but hopefully this kind of works. And then basically that just slip that on there, and yeah, make sure it's snug on there, and then yeah, same deal, lefty loosey, righty tighty. You don't want to over tighten it when you do it up again either. I think it says on there it might be only 25 Newton meters of torque, but I don't have I mean I do have a torque you know, tool somewhere, but I just do it by feel now. Yeah, so you also have these handles there which you can grip onto to help you undo it and do it up as well. So yeah, anyway, I'm just going to wrestle that off, and then once it's off I'll show you guys what it looks like. As you can see, that's very messy, which is why they normally recommend to drain the bottom part of the filter, which I'll show you later. You don't have to, it's just, you know, if you're in a workshop and don't want to make a huge mess. Alright, there's a filter there. Just tip that out a bit. Whew. It is hot and sticky. I will mention at this stage as well, obviously you want to have your oil cap loose. It helps the oil drain out, and also you can see, look how clean that is. See, this is why if you give it regular oil changes, it will absolutely extend the life of your engine. Yeah, look at that. Let's just have a look in that hole there. Now that is one clean, shiny looking hole. Yeah, these engines love, these 2GRs love a really good oil change. Just really helps extend the life of them. Anyway, you can also get out your dipstick and wipe it as well. Then you can sort of leave it out until you want to check it after you've put more oil in. Simple as guys. Checking back with you now. I've just tightened up the sump plug. So I did it tight, and then you sort of just doing a quick tight quarter turn. I will say this fitment here can be a bit of a pain to get off, especially when it's hot. Anyway, here's what the filter looks like. So as you can see, it's just a cartridge filter. Of course, when I want to film, people go past singing and playing music, and dogs come past and everything. Nah. Yeah, so anyway, that bottom piece can be a bit of a pain to get off, but let's get this out for you. Let's have a look what this looks like. All right. Very nice. No metal shavings, that's good. Yeah, so a nice, clean, healthy filter. No chunks of big end bearing. Nah, it's all good. These engines are pretty strong. As long as you service them and don't flog them while they're cold, and treat them well, they'll treat you well. So yeah, as you can see, nice and clean. This is what the inside of the filter looks like. It's a bit springy there, as you can see. Yeah, I'm going to try to get this thing off so I can show you what the bottom part looks like. Guys, I gave this this piece a bit of a wiggle and a fiddle, and it came off. So yeah, sometimes it just gets stuck when you're taking it off. So, and as you can see here, you can actually pull out this part here and drain the oil out of the filter prior to unscrewing it and just taking it off. But honestly guys, like, I tried it a few times, it doesn't make a huge difference. You still got to get both off anyway, you're still going to get dirty. So you can basically just leave this seal in here as long as you don't disturb it. And it says the torque settings there, but you don't have to tighten this up and loosen it. You can just leave it on as long as it's not leaking. You can just take the whole filter off as a whole like I did, and, you know, check it, wipe it out, clean it, you know, clean it with brake cleaner, or just wipe it out with a cloth or whatever. And then we'll put the new filter in, fill it up with oil, and then we'll insert it and screw it back in. And also I will mention, in the new filter kit as well, they'll give you a new seal for this and a new seal for this. You don't have to use a seal for this, like I said, it's already got one in there as long as you don't disturb it. But we will be changing this little seal here. But yeah, healthy looking filter, no metal shavings in here that I can see anyway. Nothing out of the ordinary. The oil looks really good still. It's like nice and golden. It's not milky, there's no bad contamination. I mean, the bucket was already dirty before I put this oil in it anyway, from other cars that I've cleaned, like my wife's car. You know, the oil that came out of that was very dirty, and I didn't get a chance to clean the bucket afterwards, so I just poured this oil straight in there. So yeah, anyway, I'll also tip this oil out as well, and I'll be back to check in with you again. Look at my little guy running over to me. As soon as he spots me, he wants a nut, don't you? Is that you, Sharpie? Alright guys, here's what your little filter kit comes with. I'm hoping you can see with the sun. Comes with instructions, of course, or with the Vico ones anyway. Your new filter, slots in there. And here's the seal rings, or O-rings I was talking about. Yeah, so as I was saying, yep. So here's the O-rings. The small one you don't need, like I mentioned, and the big one, I'm going to take it off, put some fresh oil on the seal, bit of lube, and then I'm going to slip it into this slot here. Put that in there, fill it up with oil, and then screw it in, tighten it up, and yeah, we can move on to the next step. I mentioned before, I put oil in there. Now you don't have to do this. I just do it as a peace of mind, you know, to have fresh oil in here. So when you start the car, it, you know, pumps through the system. You're not getting any air pockets, or, you know, it's not going to be starved of any oil. You know, you probably don't have to do this, like I said, but yeah, I just like to go that extra mile, you know. I will just mention as well, you always want to hand tighten it first, obviously, same with anything else on the car. So hand tighten this as hard as you possibly can, and then we'll put that cap on here, and then you can just nip it up a little bit. Don't over tighten it, but just sort of, you know, like you would with a normal non-cartridge oil filter. You just want to, you don't want to tighten it up as hard as you can, but just with your hand mainly, and just, yeah, nip it up with this. Alright guys, that's nice and tight now, same deal as before. You may need to jiggle this thing to get it off. Alright, now we can, I'll just wipe over the all those points with a rag, get it nice and dry, and then we can start filling the oil. Alright guys, and hopefully my time lapse worked. Yeah, so it takes about 6 litres to 6.1 litres of oil, semi-synthetic, 10W30 or 40, like I mentioned earlier. I'll wait till it settles a bit. I'll check the dipstick, and then if that's all good, obviously, I'll run the car, turn it off, check it again, and also check for leaks, and fill out the logbook. I'll just, generally in the notes section, I just put the, you know, the date, the Ks, what I actually did, you know, just oil and filter, or oil and filter and oil flush sometimes, or whatever, or if I change a cabin filter or do some extra, I write that in there as well. I will probably make another video on the cabin filter, because a lot of people actually don't realize how to change it and just how easy it is. You don't need to pay someone to do it, you can just do it yourself. So yeah, I'll do that one next. Also, quick little bike update. Yeah, still haven't decided if I want to sell or keep it. I really do love it. It's been a really good bike. It is due for another oil change, even though I'm not doing the Ks, but it's been another 7 months, so I might just change the oil soon. Pardon me, sooner rather than later. But I probably won't bother doing a video because, you know, you guys have already seen that. So yeah, anyway. Okay, so to check the oil, clean dipstick, push it in, wait a few seconds and slowly pull it out. And as you can see, a bit hard to see, should be between the two lines, or in the upper section of the two lines there. It's just over it at the moment because I haven't started it yet. So let's just jump in and quickly start it. Oh, she needs it clean as well, she's really dirty. So yeah, a lot of people will just start it and rev the crap out of the engine to get oil pressure. It's actually the worst thing you can do because there's not going to be much oil in there. Well, there is, but it's all going to be in the sump. So you're actually going to be damaging your engine if you just start it and rev the crap out of it. So what you want to do, if you can, you want to turn the engine over. You know, if you have a car with a key, crank it, but without starting the engine. So crank it, turn it off before it fires, and then crank it again. You know, helps build up oil pressure. Look, again, guys, you don't have to do this, but this is just something, it helps it in the long run. Obviously, this being a push button start, I can't really have control over cranking because you push it once and then it auto cranks till it starts. So anyway, we'll just do that, and hopefully there's not too much noises or anything. It should be fine. Oh, look at that. Whisper quiet, no rattles, no knocking. Yeah, only 111,876, but I'm just changing it now, so my next big one will be 120,000 like I mentioned earlier. And yeah, she runs like a champ. Very nice, quiet 2GR-FE with that. And that's it, guys. That's how you change the oil. You just want to obviously quickly double check, make sure there's no leaks or nothing, but yeah, that's it. Anyway, like, comment, subscribe if you want to see more action. I mean, sorry there's a lot of talking in this, guys, but I want to make sure you guys can easily understand what I'm doing, so you can do it at home yourself. Awesome. Catch you next time.